All systems go. Clear for takeoff.
What is going on, YouTube? We're back with the newly anticipated Hoop and myself are back together, finally doing a show back here on the SHIPIT Nation YouTube station. If you guys are new, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Welcome in. Happy Monday. We got a busy night tonight, Hoop, in the DraftKings lobby. Multiple sports going on. NHL, I know you ain't touching the NHL, but we got NFL, we got NBA, we got three main sports. We cover them all over here. How are we doing, man? Happy Monday. What's up?
Yeah, doing well. It's been a while. I mean, you and I haven't not been connected here since the MLB season. So it's been a while. Happy to be back here talking some NBA. It is a very busy night for not only yourself, myself, got NFL going. You have NFL, you have NHL going, but it's a big NBA. NBA didn't do us any favors. They rolled out 11-game slate right in our face. So we're going to go through, but we wanted to, on this show, do it a little differently. Wanted to give you guys inside look at our projections and our partnership with the Solver. So we're going to kind of work through this slate, talking, game by game, but incorporating our projections. And it's definitely a piece of content that we pride ourselves on here, pride ourselves on at SHIPIT Nation, because our projections, they're not going to be your industry standard projections that lead you down the same path as everything else. We have our system, we run it, and we're not comparing ourselves to what other people are doing. These are our raw projections. So we want to give you guys an inside look at it today. And we'll go game by game, and you'll be able to see, how these guys are projected, different things you can do here. Obviously, sort by the total number, sort by value. So it's going to be how we do the show here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Great point. We're going to really show off our showcase over here. And if you guys haven't already, you definitely check out our Twitter, our pinned tweet out there, SHIPIT at SHIPIT Nation on Twitter. And we got a contest for a little free roll for a $333 Mega Wildcat ticket for a lucky member that is interacting on there. Obviously, the instructions are on the tweet. I'll post the link once I kick it over to Hoop here in a little bit, so you guys can just click that link over there. We had a massive weekend in the NFL streets, yourself included, Hoop. Tambo had a massive day. Many members, including a single bullet into that $20 DraftKings Millie, took second. Fell about 5 points short of $1 million. So we did the review show right here on the same channel. If you guys haven't checked that already, check that out. Myself, our partner at Line Star from Tyler over there, and our own Tyler, ToeTagginTambo there as well, went through that. So massive week. If you guys aren't a member, head over to shipitnation.com. Use promo code. Let me just pull this up. Promo code NBA10. Last call. This is the last chance to get in at 10% off using this promo code for all of our premium content behind the paywall. Expert projections. I mean, projections that we're going to touch on, and you're going to see a little showcase as of 2:20 this afternoon update. Obviously, NBA things change drastically, so we're fine showing you off what our projections looking like right now. But the expert content, tools, slate plan, core plays, all that. And then the best piece, Hoop, I think, in my opinion, is our Discord. Many members last night, including Tambo, saying, hey, all I need is a little Hollywood Brown touchdown, and I ship 100K over on FanDuel, and not even 35 seconds later, we're all in there rooting everybody on. Hollywood Brown catches a 1-yard touchdown, which is definitely not the standard Hollywood Brown there. So absolutely amazing community. Anything else to add on that, Hoop?
Yeah, it was a big day yesterday, and, a lot of our team members had success, including myself, Tambo, others as well. But the more important part is the members. So, I've been on a nice little heater the last 2 weeks. Every time I've won, the members have come along as well, and something we pride ourselves on. It does you guys no good if I'm going out there and winning all the money. It does do you some good if I'm winning and you're winning as well. And that's what we've seen over the course of the last couple of weeks. Yeah, here you go. Some of the screenshots. I mean, just massive stuff yesterday. Tambo, 100,000. I got the live final, $100,000 win in that was the afternoon slate, I believe. from our guy. Could be
Three
Travis.
lineups, by the way. Three lineups in the afternoon only, not 150. Said shout out to the projections and SHIPIT Nation. 100 stacks. And he actually paid it forward this morning on our review show. So absolutely awesome there. Plenty of other ones. I mean, you want to talk about ROI.
This was a good one.
You and Tambo had a good day over on the FanDuel streets. But I mean, I tell you what, $60 into 81K and some change. I mean, I think on the screenshot he posted in the Discord, actually, he had like $5 or something in his account. So absolutely amazing.
I love that he won the Hulu Plus Live TV football challenge, the free contest as well.
He just owns. He just gets in there, owns all the haters, runs a little dupe train, says screw the dupes. When you got the stone nuts, you're just gonna dupe yourself and throw it in there. So amazing. I mean, the screenshots yesterday were just absolutely incredible. $200 into over 9K. Another single entry shipper there from our guy Wally Boa. I mean, right there. Look at that leaderboard. Got you down there, Hoop, and you got the dupe trade right there. Little 80 stacks off of $18. So huge. I mean, there's Tambo's screenshot for you. I mean, the screenshots were just crazy, quote unquote, biggest effing day of my life right there in the Discord. I mean, I don't know what you want. This is it right here. Single bullet into the DraftKings main slate. Millie took second, fell just shy. I mean, if you looked in the Discord, my core play, I had Gus Bust Edwards in there. In your YouTube chat of the Mayo Media Network show, I said, our guy Hollywood Brown, I said, is riding the bus to Hollywood. And, hey, helped us both out. Helped members win with Gus Bust. Helped Tambo ship 100 stacks with Hollywood Brown. Overall, incredible day. Again, use that promo code NBA10 over on ShipItNation.com. Last day to get in at 10% off for life. Not just the first month. This isn't just the first month. It's 6 month, year, or your monthly package. Brings it down to about $62 a month if you do the monthly, and brings it between 45 and like 55, I believe, if you choose the 6 month or the year package. That's enough promo off the top, Hoop. Let's go in. There's 11 games on tap here. A lot of injury news. I'm going to hit on the injury news as we go game by game. First game on. Hoop's got it highlighted right here. Boston and Washington. This total here sitting at 229 right now. Boston 10-point favorites here. The injury note, Daniel Gafford is questionable right now, as you see right there, the questionable tag in the optimizer here, our solver. In terms of value, Hoop, I'll throw it over to you once we talk through this. But obviously, you see the light blue values there. Kyle Kuzma, who's been excellent to start the season so far. Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday there. But, I mean, pretty healthy Boston team here. 10-point favorites. Obviously, potential risk for blowout here. Daniel Gafford questionable. What are you looking at in this game from a projection standpoint, from a basketball standpoint here?
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of show, let me go through and highlight all these games just to see, the overall value on the slate. We have a lot, Jokic is popping, obviously Giannis is, and then there's a lot of guys in the 6 and 5-ish range. So, just to circle back to this game specifically, Jaylen Brown, Kuzma kind of showing as decent values on the slate. I think if I'm going anywhere, it's going to be Jaylen Brown at 7.8K. Boston is a team I don't love to pick on in terms of taking offensive players against. You can go Kuzma. I mean, he's good start to the season. Like you said, he's got 32, 44 fantasy points in the first 2 games, but it's a tougher spot here for sure. A team that will play defense. So, the only piece I really see myself potentially getting exposure to would be Jaylen Brown. Drew Holiday, coming off a 43 fantasy point game. He does play a lot of minutes. He would be my second guy that I go to here, but I'm not forcing in really anything in this game. Like, I'm not going to pay the 10-5 for Tatum. I get it. There's obviously upside there, but if I'm spending, I prefer to go different route. So really the only plays for me are going to be Brown and Holiday in this game.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown. I mean, at this point, I do think I don't predict blowouts too much, especially this early in the season. But I mean, Boston's a very stout defensive team, especially with the addition of Drew Holiday, one of the best defenders in the league there. I mean, I'll take Dame's offense though over there in Milwaukee. That's been fun to see him and Giannis go at it. But Drew Holiday picking up that to an already good defensive team, and then you add a guy like Porzingis as well. It's hard for me to click any of these Washington names on this slate, 11-game slate. They're the only guy I would even possibly look at is Kyle Kuzma, just because of how good he's been. But he's got a tough matchup with Porzingis inside, Jason Tatum inside there. So for me, Washington, probably I don't get to any of these Washington pieces. I mean, last piece in, if it fits your bill, I think makes some sense. Kuzma is probably going to be the only one that would fit your way, at least with our projections as it looks right now. And then Gafford, I see our guy Newens in the chat. Newens, great dude over here, always in the Discord, always helping out, very profitable in NBA, very good NBA player himself. Talking about Denny gets a bump if Gafford is out. You could look at that. Denny is 5,500 though. He does need to do something at that price point, right? He probably needs to get you 35 to 40 DraftKings points at that price on this big of a slate. And against Boston, a very stout defensive team, probably don't get there. So for me, it's probably just Jaylen Brown or pass, kind of in lockstep with you, Hoop, on this game for sure.
Yeah, in terms of Mike Carr, will Hoop be getting a Dak jersey? I said I had to win $250,000 to get a Dak jersey, and where I didn't win $250, but the SHIPIT Nation community did win $250. So I guess the answer to this question is maybe I'll get the Dak jersey because
he's getting that Dak jersey and he's framing that up right behind him. He's gonna go right new green screen. It's gonna be a Dak Prescott jersey, and we're all gonna sign it. We're all gonna sign it for Hoop and send it to him because he said he's the biggest shitter in the league. But hey, sometimes
it is ironic though how that works. Is like two of my bigger wins this NFL season has featured Dak Prescott, the guy I've shit on all season long. It's just funny how it works, man.
It's hilarious. Every NFL show, I mean, this guy just Hoop just goes on here, talks about the biggest shitter, and then he goes on and said, I'm going to be heavy on Dak Prescott this week, and what do you know? Dak Prescott's a stone nuts and just wins everybody all the money at 6% ownership. So that was awesome to see.
The ownership was the crazy part because I thought he was going to be it's not popular, but I figured people would play him. Like he was 6%. It was crazy.
There was nobody but us around the industry that I could see that was on Dak. Yeah. So, I mean, that's why you go to our Twitter and you see the screenshots. I mean, they speak for themselves. Members turning a couple $100 into tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So absolutely amazing weekend over here at the SHIPIT Nation.
Absolutely.
Next game. Let's jump into the next game here. We got Chicago. We got the Pacers. Pretty close spread in this one. In terms of a total in this one, 227 total. Chicago home team, 3-point favorites here. Questionable tag right now, Zach LaVine, which we'll talk on Zach LaVine here in a second. He's probable to play with that back. Projecting to be pretty good value, as you see there on the screen. And, man, this guy, what was that, 2 nights ago, I think, or Saturday? It was, Saturday.
Your boy was there. Your boy was there.
Hoop was in attendance. This guy comes in with a questionable tag after flopping his chalk 2 nights in a row. That just shows you NBA what a treat.
Well, it's
NBA
funny
is.
Because I told Tambo, we were talking on Saturday, and I was like, I'm going to the game tonight. And he's like, he goes, that's sweet. He goes, you know what's going to happen. I wish I had this text to put up on the screen. He goes, you know what's going to happen. He goes, Levine's busted twice. You know he's going to go off right in front of you now. And sure as shit, he opened up the game. He had 10 points in the first 3 minutes. So I was texting Tambo. I was like, man, you were right. Crazy. I said, hopefully he played his ass. He couldn't miss. He was he was sub 1%. Sub 1% drops 59 and a half on the slate. I know our projections were massive on him, so a lot of members did well. And Tambo actually posted that in the Discord. Another perk to get into SHIPIT Nation over here at the Discord. That same text that we're not just keeping the plays behind the paywall or behind the scenes and just saying screw the members. We're just going to play the best plays ourselves and not tell anyone. He posted it right in the chat and said, hey, this is a perfect spot for a 1% owned Zach LaVine to come in and dust the slate. And that's exactly what he did. Maybe it's because our guy Hoop, on an absolute heater, was in attendance and threw it over to Zach LaVine's way. But he's definitely a talking point here. Unfortunately, I didn't play him, but I watched him just make every single shot that he took. And
I tell you what, I was going through and playing around with the optimizer, looking at the optimal build and then some pivots and stuff that I wanted to use for my core. And Zach LaVine just kept hitting every one of my flipping teams. And I just kept hitting the X button on him every single time. And looking back at it, obviously, hindsight's 2020, right? Looking back at it, wish I would have just trusted a little bit more. But obviously, the members did very well over here on Saturday in the NBA streets, which typically on the weekends, right? People take a little break, right? Until Sunday. Come Sunday, they take a little break on Saturday. Not us. We got everything going on over here. But from this game, obviously Zach LaVine, definitely a talking point here. Halliburton also had a really, really big game. 53.5 there in that Cleveland game. That game went crazy with all the Cleveland value with Donovan Mitchell sitting out that game. Where are you going in this one? What are you looking at here? There's a couple plays here I think you can pull from for sure. Definitely, obviously, Zach LaVine as a pretty mid-tier play with upside.
Yeah, definitely good going back to LaVine. I have to admit, he's questionable. Assuming he's playing. I mean, he looked obviously he looked totally fine on Saturday. I can't imagine he's going to sit out after dropping 50, although they still got their ass kicked in the game. Definitely fine going to him. It's nice with the guy like him, shooting guard and small forward eligible. So there's a lot of different spots you can play him in your DraftKings lineup. So I definitely like him. And I think it's one of those spots for tournaments, like if you are playing LaVine, take a look at Halliburton because Halliburton has the upside. He's got the 50, 60 fantasy point upside, and he's in that 9K range. He's not priced all the way up there. Such a safe fantasy play almost every single night. He just does so much. Definitely like both of those two. If you're hand building, like I said, I don't mind pairing them together. And then, it's tough. But, man, I will go back to Kobe White here. I mean, he was good the first two games and then did nothing last game. Well, he did nothing last game because LaVine went absolutely off. Still had the playing time, but just didn't do anything because LaVine was shooting the ball every single time he got it. So LaVine, Halliburton, White, which is kind of what our projections show here as the three best plays in this game. And it's kind of where I'm going to be at in this one. Not too much else for me.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think this is a good game environment. I think this game definitely can play to the over here. Everyone pretty much has a good matchup in the slate. There's not really any bad matchups in this game. And guess who played Mr. Kobe White? Guess who had Kobe White in his core on Saturday? This guy right here. As I kept seeing Zach LaVine getting slammed into the solver here, and I just kept Xing him out, and I was like, okay, if I'm Xing Zach LaVine and projections are going crazy, I'm going to play Kobe White at a cheaper price point. He's been very good. Guess what? Snowflake. I scored like 310 with a 2 from Kobe White. So I absolutely had the stone nuts on the build and had the Kobe White 3-point or whatever he scored, the snowflake staring me in the face. But yeah, I mean, going back to this game, Zach LaVine, definitely interesting. I see some talks about Vus in the chat. Vus has a good matchup here, but the thing I struggle with is these Bulls, man, is when all three of them are healthy, LaVine, Vus, and DeRozan, it's hard to play any of them, to be honest with you. I mean, could Zach LaVine get there again? Yeah, I mean, but he 59.5 last game. Look at Vus in that same game, just 18.5 for Vus on Saturday, and DeRozan had 34. So it doesn't like if one of these guys is going off, it seems like the other two definitely take a back seat. So I would definitely be cautious, especially on an 11-game slate here. It's the second. It's one of the early games too, right? You got NFL going on tonight, everything. You could see people lock into some of these early plays like a LaVine who's popping big time in projection models. I'm sure in ours for sure. I'm sure across the industry, haven't looked too much at other places. But Zach LaVine, do think it's an interesting spot. And I like the ping pong call there between Zach LaVine or like a DeRozan and a Halliburton, right? Halliburton's kind of the hybrid. I mean, he does it all. He passes, gets tons of peripheral stats, can score as well. 9,400 for him. I mean, this guy's going to be in the 10Ks probably pretty soon here. And we're going to be paying probably 10.4, 10.5 for this guy middle of the season, I would assume here, Hoop. So you can argue you're getting a little bit of discount here in a good matchup against Chicago in a close spread that I think the game goes over. So obviously, those are interesting plays. The Kobe White flop leg spot, right? Everyone got burned by him, 3.5 points. He was pretty chalky on Saturday. Going back to the well there with him after that dud definitely makes some sense because before that he was heavily involved. He's just 5,100 and he's playing heavy minutes. I mean, 31 minutes, 40 minutes, and then obviously last game he played 28 minutes, but Zach LaVine couldn't miss. So it makes a little bit more sense there. Kind of lockstep again with you there, Hoop, in that one. I think we hit on that one pretty good. Obviously, some of the lower owned guys in this game that aren't super popping off the projection model, Miles Turner, DeRozan, but they're still showing pretty positive value in terms of our model looking at them. But I would definitely be wary of playing more than one of Levine, Vus, and DeRozan in the same team, especially on this big of a slate, because they all eat into each other. Is typically how I approach that.
Agree.
Next game, other 6 p.m. game here. We have Brooklyn and Charlotte. Charlotte at home here, 1 point spread in this one. Charlotte home dogs here. 229 is the total in this one. So same as that Boston game, but obviously a much closer spread here. A little bit of a pace up spot here for Brooklyn, as what I'm seeing. And as you can tell, our projections see the same thing, right? Pace up spot here against Charlotte. Charlotte games typically go crazy. And you got five of these or 6 of these Brooklyn Nets all projecting to be in positive value in terms of our projection model. So Brooklyn definitely going to be a talking point as you run an optimal. You run our optimal. Currently, 3 of them are hitting optimal build. So Brooklyn's definitely going to be a pretty chalky spot. But you look at the price points and the matchup in a pace-up spot in a 229 total that's supposed to stay close. Dinwiddie, 6,100, right? Ben Simmons, I hate Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is my Dak Prescott of the NBA. I'm sure you got your talks on Ben Simmons, but you click into it, you pull the little game log up, and 31 against Cleveland. Okay, makes some sense, right? Cleveland, very good defensive team. But looking back at Dallas, right? Dropped 43 on Dallas. He's 6,400. Cam Thomas, this dude, I don't know what happened to Cam Thomas, but this guy looks like Michael Jordan out there. The guy can't miss. 45 and 46 in his last 2 games. He's 6K flat. He does that. He's definitely going to be needed at that. So where are you going in this one, Brooklyn and Charlotte?
Yeah, it's an appealing game for fantasy. A high total should remain relatively close, and no one's very expensive outside of LaMelo Ball, who I guess you could play him. I don't really like him, but I love the Nets side. Like Simmons, I think is complete cheeks. He sucks. Like there's no doubt about it. He'll never be same as Dak. He'll never be on a winning basketball team. But 6.4K. And we're playing fantasy sports, and he's been playing well. He's playing minutes, and he can do a lot of different things on the court. I'm fine with him. Fine with Dinwiddie, who kind of sucked in the opener but bounced back. Cam Thomas at 6K. Cam Thomas is a guy we're used to playing in March NBA DFS when the season's over and it's the scrubs playing 40 minutes, and Cam Thomas has gone off numerous times. Now he's like a featured guy in this offense, still getting the job done. Only 6K. He's a guy that could be way more expensive down the road here. So 6K, I think he's an elite value, probably my favorite Nets guy. Royce O'Neal is cheap at 4.3. Dorian Finney-Smith is another punt type play. There's not a ton of value on this play. He's 4.1. Then my favorite guy in the horn is going to be Gordon Hayward. I know, Rio Hebrew Cheetah wrote him up in the slate plan today. So it's gross to be writing up Gordon Hayward, but you almost have to. He's played 33 minutes, 34 minutes, and he's been productive in both games. So it feels gross, but I think he's in play here. So far, this is by far my favorite game. You have, probably 7 viable fantasy options, maybe more depending on how you're building your teams. But I think I like Cam Thomas the most here. I think it's a very interesting spot for him, but this is a game I want a lot of exposure to.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely in with you. LaMelo Ball, probably, you could play him. I just like other studs better on this slate. He is 9,700, does have to do a lot at that price point. And he hasn't really shown his ceiling yet this year. Could happen in this game, right? Pace up spot here. But a little bit under on him. Cam Thomas, I'm definitely with you. I see some talk in the chat about our guy, Sean Sullivan, that he's been super efficient in shooting. He has been, right? 12 and 19, 13 to 21, but just 1 for 4 from 3, 2 for 5 for 3. So it's not like he's out there shooting 80% or something, right? So I think he's still definitely playable. It is a pace up spot for them. Brooklyn is super shorthanded, right? No Nick Claxton is well in this game. Cameron Johnson's also out in this one, and Cody Martin on the other side is out for Charlotte. So it's early in the year, Hoop, but we love to target shorthanded teams in NBA. That's just the nature of the beast. That's just how NBA works. And that's why you're seeing a bunch of these Brooklyn guys getting popped up. The one guy I would definitely be under on, Ben Simmons. Like you said, I'm just not a Ben Simmons guy. I get their reasoning for it, but 6,400. I just like Dinwiddie better, and I like Cam Thomas better. They're both cheaper. Ownership's probably going to follow that as well. But, mean, Ben Simmons, 6,400. He's still going to get played because he's still popping. He's got a good value. Projected we got him at about 37 points right now at 6,400. So projected for almost 6x. He's definitely going to get played. So under on him, definitely like Dinwiddie. Cam Thomas, my favorite, lockstep with you there. And then Mark Williams. I mean, Mark Williams with no Claxton down there for rim defense. Mark Williams should have his way. Typically, we used to always play bigs against Brooklyn, right? Mark Williams obviously coming off the flop leg as well, right? There against Detroit. Duran kind of just dunked on Mark Williams there over the weekend. Coming off a dud, right? 8.75, 42 to start the year. I think you could go back to a guy like Mark Williams at 6,100 as a little spot, right? You want to play these Brooklyn guys, 2 or 3 of them is what projections are slamming. I like getting another little piece on the other side in the game environment that I like. Obviously, you don't need to stack an NBA. Something I like to look at. So I do like him a little bit as well. Let's keep it moving. Jump into the 6:30 time slot here, 7:30 Eastern. We got Portland and Toronto in this game here. 218 total. So the lowest total so far here in this one, 7-point spread. Not too much that I'm looking at here. Scoot, obviously, right, with no Anthony Simons, but man, Scoot has looked horrible. I don't think I'm getting to anyone in this game. I think this is an easy cross-off spot on an 11-game slate. Lowest total so far yet here. Think Toronto can kind of handle pretty easily here. What's your thoughts?
Just one play here for me, and it's Malcolm Brogdon for the reason that you mentioned. Scoot Henderson has not looked very good. I think they maybe go to Brogdon a little bit more. 5'6". He's had solid games so far this season. I think he could potentially have an expanded role tonight. So give me Brogdon, and then I'm not playing anyone else here.
Yeah, no, excellent. I definitely agree with that. That's a good take there. Brogdon does have a nice price point there. Is a pretty tough matchup overall. Toronto, definitely a pretty good defensive team. Scotty Barnes obviously can get you there with peripherals. I see our guy Newens in the chat talking on Scotty Barnes, but man, in this total of a game at 7,700, I mean, Barnes has got to go out there and get you 50 DraftKings points.
You got to do something.
He's got to go out there and do something, right? And he's still got Siakam. He's got Boucher who's going to get run off the bench. You got Poto in there who's going to get usage. Dennis Schroeder is going to take usage. So, I mean, Scotty Barnes definitely does need to still do something there. Obviously, OG Anunoby is still questionable in this game, so that would give a little boost there. But I just wish Scotty Barnes it's not the spot, in my opinion, to play Scotty Barnes. There's definitely going to be times once some of these guys get ruled out and people sit, you can play Scotty Barnes. But, hey, he's going to be low-owned. So if you want a low-owned piece that could definitely do it, you could go to Scotty Barnes. But for this game, complete fade for me personally in this one. Any additional things?
No, that's it. Just I like the Brogdon play and nothing else here.
Yeah, I know. I butchered the name. I knew as soon as I said it, I knew chat was going to come at me. And matter of fact, there it is. Hey, I don't specialize in English. I don't specialize in pronouncing these guys' names. I will be the first one to admit that. And you can make all the memes you want in the chat. But nonetheless, we're going to move forward here, Hoop. I'll throw it over to you. Minnesota and Atlanta. Pretty decent game here. 235 total, highest so far on the slate. I think it is the highest total on the slate. Close spread. Got to look at this game for fantasy purposes. We got our guy Jalen Johnson. I just scored him over the weekend against Milwaukee here. He's back.
We must have been on the same stuff because I was on Johnson this weekend too, and he continues to play well.
Yeah, Johnson continues to play well. He's 5K here, projecting to be very well. And then Trae Young at 9K flat. This is a pretty cheap price point for a guy, Trae Young. A lot of goodness in this game, it looks like. Where are you going?
Yeah, I really like this one. I mean, I've been on Jalen Johnson so far, and he's looked phenomenal to start the season from a fantasy perspective. Three games. He's played essentially right around 30 minutes every game, 39 fantasy points, 27, and then 30.25. So like 5K is just like too cheap. His price is going to come up. He's probably going to be a 6K guy here before we know it. I'm going to take advantage of the price break right now and get myself some Jalen Johnson. Trae Young at 9K, hasn't had the monster game yet. Could easily come in this matchup. Like, this is a nice game for fantasy. So in on him. And then if you are looking, NBA is not about correlation, but if you want some Minnesota guys, because you are playing Atlanta heavy, Towns and Edwards, I agree with like how this is ranked right here. But the priority plays for me in this game are going to be Trae Young at 9K. I love these 9K price tags. We talked about Halliburton, who I like, because it still allows you to play another stud in your lineup. These guys have the 50. These guys have the 60 fantasy point upside, and then you can get another one of those guys in your lineups too. So like Trae Young, like Jalen Johnson a lot. And then, if you want some Minnesota, Towns and Edwards, but, Johnson and Young are going to be the priority plays for me in this game.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown there. And it's interesting to note, I don't hate an Anthony Edwards play in this game. Atlanta is second highest team right now in the league in terms of pace. Anthony Edwards at $9,200. We've seen the ceiling that Ant Edwards can have. I'm seeing pretty low ownership on him, as I just lost my whole solver went blank here, so that was cool. But 9,200 for Anthony Edwards. I hit that spot a little bit just because the pace that Atlanta plays in here, I think is definitely a little boost. Trae Young, not the greatest matchup on paper for Trae Young, but 9K flat for him in a game that's the highest total on the slate, expected to stay pretty close. I think makes some sense. And then Karl Anthony Towns projection is pretty good that we have over here, and could definitely look at him on this slate as well. What's the next game we have? Dallas and Memphis. Try to get this to work on my end over here. I'm not sure what's going on. My whole thing went blank over here, but Dallas, Memphis, looking at this game, Memphis at home, 3-point dogs, 228 is the total here. A little bit of a pace up spot on both ends, and got to talk about it anytime we talk about Dallas, man. Luka, where are you going in this one? Luka, definitely, obviously, a talking point, one of the best spends on the slate in terms of a stud, probably my top stud on the slate. Where are you looking at, Hoop?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely Luka. I mean, Luka, phenomenal play, 12K. He's averaging like what the number's insane. It's like 75 fantasy. He's 72 and 78 fantasy points. Like if you're playing 150, like you got to get exposure to him. Just doing everything now. He is going to have Marcus Smart chasing his ass around and probably trying to rough him up a little bit, but still got to look to him at 12K. The rest of the plays in this game, though, I'm just not as excited about. I mean, we are showing Jaren Jackson as a solid value. We're showing Desmond Bane as a solid value, but they're just priced too closely to like the big time studs on the slate where I just don't know if I want to go there. Like the 8.8, 8.2 for Jaren Jackson, the 8.6 for Bane. Oh man, I just don't think I can do it. Like it's just, they're too expensive, to be honest with you. So I'll be out on both those guys. Luka will be in my player pool. Zaire Williams potentially. Like the thing with these plays, we're just struggling to find value on this slate. He's played 29 minutes, 31 and 34. He's progressively gotten better in terms of the fantasy points. So maybe Williams is the guy you go to on the Memphis side. So yeah, I guess those would be my two favorites, Luka and Zaire Williams. And then I don't see myself playing anyone else from this game.
Yeah, no, I definitely tend to agree. Luka, man, it's hard to ignore what Luka's been doing, right? Yeah, absolutely nuking. I think I court him both times he's played so far. Treated me pretty well, so I like going back to there. But it is a talking point because, man, he is expensive, right? Does need to get you there. He is priced all the way up there. So Luka for me, definitely a good spot here in this one. And then obviously the Jaren Jackson, right? Talk on Jaren Jackson. Going to continue to pop in projections. The deal with Jaren Jackson. I mean, this guy can get handsy, get into foul trouble. So just be careful there with him. I think we definitely broke that game down good. Again, if you guys are new, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're working triple time, overtime, quadruple time, right? 3 sports going on. We got shows left and right. I feel like I've been on the StreamYard all day long. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And then if you are not a member, shipitnation.com, use promo code NBA10, get you 10% off. Hoop, what's the next game we got here? I'm still trying to...
Detroit OKC. It looks like the total is sitting right around 226.5 team total for the Pistons, like 110, and then 116 for the Thunder. So I guess I'll give you my breakdown on this one first. Like,
Yeah, go ahead.
Pistons guys, I do like some of these Pistons guys. Cade Cunningham at 8'8", definitely want him. Like, he's going to be an absolute stud in this league. He looks good. He is a guy that I want some exposure to, especially if you're building multiple teams. He was solid. He's been solid, 46 against Chicago, had the 51 against Miami. They smoked Charlotte, so he didn't play all that much. I think you're just going to see a lot of 50 fantasy point games for him. So I'm in on him. Jalen Duren looks like the real deal. If you read the slate plan over at SHIPITNation.com, which you should, from our guy Rio, he's very high on him. He's been high on him all season. Saw him up close and personal on Saturday night. He's a beast. He's an absolute beast. And you look at the output, 48, 44, and then 57 fantasy points against Chicago. He's just going off. Like, it's not a fluke. People are going to see the price increase and kind of get scared. Going right to him, man. Like, I think he's a stud. Our projections also like this Austin Thompson, kind of like a do-it-all type player, very aggressive on the court. Just looks like a freak athlete almost. And he's doing what you want in terms of fantasy. Like, he's 7 rebounds, 13 rebounds, 12 rebounds, not scoring much, only scored 4, 6, and 9, but he's doing so much in the peripherals that he's paying off his salary. So at 5'5", I like him. And then we like Isaiah Thomas, I think, or Isaiah Stewart. I think he can definitely go to Isaiah Stewart as like a last guy in, but I love Cade. I love Duren. And I like Thompson quite a bit. I think they're all really, really good fantasy plays tonight.
Yeah, I think Thompson is definitely interesting at 5,500 here. Again, projecting very well, has been solid. So I love him. Duren, this guy's a stud. I think I cored him both times as well. So it seems like we've all been pretty lockstep, and it's been pretty profitable to start the year, just kind of trusting our projections, trusting a little bit of bias. And that's typically what I've done so far, at least to start this year with so much going on. Hoop is just relied on our tools and our content and our projections, more importantly, over here in our partnership with the Solver, and just making a couple tweaks and just relying on that. And that just speaks to how good our stuff and our tools and our content is over here, because we've been crushing in NBA. And you can argue it's not even the heart of NBA when stuff gets really good, right? When other stuff starts slowing down, rotations get more established, and obviously everyone becomes sharper. Everyone's models and things become sharper once that happens. But it's been great to start the year. So no reason to look back now. There's a lot of guys in this game, though, projecting over 5x their salary. Chet Holmgren, this guy, Hoop, I think he's skinnier than your son. This guy, 6,900 for Chet Holmgren. He looks like he slips on a fingernail out there on the court, and this guy can roll an ankle or anything, but he's definitely a stud. I don't know if I get there at 6,900, to be honest. My favorite plays in this game, definitely Jalen Duren, Thompson. I'm with you there. And then on the OKC side, Jalen Williams with an L, not a Y. I definitely like a little bit in this one at just 5,800 on the other side of that game. Think makes some sense as well. I think we have 2 more 7 p.m. games, right? Golden State and New Orleans. Next game I'm going to pull up here and look at. Where are you looking at this one? Pretty close spread here. New Orleans 113.8. 110.9 for Golden State in terms of team totals in this one. Jovel projects to be the best value in this game right now. Herb Jones, Ingram. So it looks like the New Orleans side definitely projects a lot better in this game than the Golden State side. What are you looking at here?
Not a ton, to be honest with you. Like, Valanciunas is projecting fine, and he's got 40 fantasy point upside, probably more, but the risk. Like, he just sometimes just doesn't play many minutes, so that could be the case at any point where the minutes are low. And when the minutes are low, it's not like, all right, he's used to playing 30 and he plays like 26. It's like, oh wait, he's played 18 minutes tonight, or like 20 minutes, and there's just no way for him to get there. So don't necessarily love him, although he is projecting well. Brandon Ingram, I think, is fine as like a last guy type in at 8K, like just a very safe option. He's probably going to get you, at least mid 30s, and he has the upside to get to 50. probably like a good cash game play where, you know what you're getting. He's going to play a lot of minutes. He'll get you. He has a nice little floor there. And then like Zion, not a ton of interest in Zion at 8.9K. Yeah, I don't know. I guess, if I'm doing 150 teams today, but if I was, I'd get exposure to those three guys, Valanciunas, Ingram, and Zion, but I'm not overly thrilled to get there. And then not a ton of interest there on the, I think they have a couple guys questionable. It's Klay Thompson. So you're going to have to see on that. And then like Draymond as well. So need some clarity on the Golden State situation. But even though these New Orleans guys are showing us solid values, I don't necessarily love them tonight.
Yeah, no, excellent. Obviously, Klay Thompson questionable. Draymond is probable, but Kuminga's also questionable there for Golden State. So that could open up some other values for Golden State, like Kevon Looney, a little boost for him there as well, and then some other value plays. But yeah, definitely, I don't have a ton of interest in this game personally. Andrew Wiggins, CJ McCollum, maybe a little bit. They have decent matchups, decent projections. CJ McCollum, you could see a little back and forth there, especially if Klay Thompson is out. You could see a little boost as well to Andrew Wiggins. Would definitely expect ownership to follow as well. If a guy like Klay Thompson gets ruled out, could see more usage go to Steph Curry, obviously, as well. If Klay Thompson does end up sitting in this one, we'll definitely probably get that news. But it is 3 in the afternoon here. We got about 3 hours first before the first game tips off. And you know how NBA works, Hoop. With a busy night here. Personally, I'm going to try and stay away from some of these injury spots and just take what it's worth. Play one team tonight with so much going on. And I think a lot of other people are going to do that. So if you want to sit around and stay locked to your computer here tonight, I think you're going to have an advantage with NFL going on as well. So that's definitely one call out I did want to make because NBA changes so quickly. One piece of news can change the whole slate. So definitely have to be around because it is a pretty heavy news focused slate here tonight. Next game, we have the Bucks and the Heat here. We got the Dame time. We got the Giannis time. Giannis projecting pretty good. He's $1,000 cheaper than Luka, but he does have Dame in town as well. In this game, 104 or 109.7 implied total here for the Heat, 115 for the Bucks in this game. Obviously, Giannis projects to be the best value so far in this game in terms of what his projection is. Pretty safe floor. Obviously, the ceiling we know Giannis can have, but we haven't seen it yet. This is a new offense here in Milwaukee, right? And adding a big usage guy like Dame Lillard definitely has to see, probably lowers Giannis' ceiling a little bit. Where are you going in this one?
Yeah, it's going to be a pass for me basically this entire game. Like Giannis, I preferred Luka and even Jokic over him, who we'll talk about in the next game. Dame at 10K, like he was great in the opener, and then they laid an egg yesterday. Miami, nothing's really popping for me. I'm just going to be fading this game. 11 games, you can't play everyone. This is one that I'll gladly be off.
Yeah, the only guy I do want to bring up, Tyler Herro. This guy's just doing so much for the Heat, 7,400. Not projecting to be the best, but the quotes came out saying, "Hey, hometown boy here, Tyler Herro, gonna get a Dame Lillard jersey." Once the news came out, you could see a guy like Tyler Herro show out for Dame Lillard here in this spot. He's been pretty good as well to start the year. So little low owned GPP play there. Tyler Herro at 7,400. I think you could see him show up a little bit for this game, but overall, definitely under on this game as well with you. Jumping in the next time slot here, we got the Utah and Denver Nuggets. 2 games left to talk about. This is the lone game at 8 p.m. time slot, 9 p.m. Eastern, and it's a Jokic slate here. It's a Jokic slate, $200 cheaper than Luka, 11.8 for Mr. Jokic, who does it all. Man, he does it all. What's your thoughts on Jokic? Or you could get into Jokic in this game against the Jazz here. Any Jamal Murray, anyone on the Utah side here?
Not going to be going to Utah. I mean, that's just nothing stands out from a pricing perspective, value perspective. Just does not seem like a good spot whatsoever. Jokic, though, definitely wants some exposure. Him and Luka tonight, I think, are guys that you want exposure to. For me personally, it'd be those two over Giannis, like we kind of talked about. Jamal Murray, the price is it's just too high. I mean, 7-9, I'm not getting there. Like, I'm just not going to do it. I don't really see the upside for him. So out on him. Michael Porter Jr., I don't mind. Would be a last guy type in. Don't necessarily love him though. I mean, but I would potentially play him. He'd be my second favorite in this game, but really it's Jokic. It's Porter, I guess, maybe. And then that's it. Like, I'm not liking anything else in this game, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I do have a little bit more interest. It's just Utah's been horrible, absolutely horrible to start the year defensively. You could see a guy like Jamal Murray at 7,900. He's still projecting decent. I don't think anybody plays Jamal Murray here in this spot as a late night hammer. He's got a great matchup against Utah. 7,900 for a guy like Jamal Murray. You could see a 50 burger here for him. So I do like Jamal Murray at sub 8K in this spot. It's just a matchup play for me here. Like I said, I already like Luka up at the top end. So Jokic, you can definitely play Jokic any slate. I mean, the guy's projected for 61 points. But I really like the spot for Jamal Murray here. I think he gets overlooked in this game, and it's a great matchup in targeting a team that's been horrible to start the year defensively. I mean, they're dead last in points per game here. So definitely like me some Jamal Murray.
It does look like Denver has the highest team total, I believe, on the slate. I mean, they're sitting at 118, and that's higher than anyone besides Boston. So them and Boston are way up there. So yeah, I don't necessarily hate that.
Yeah, and then I mean, a guy like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. I'm not a huge Caldwell-Pope guy. Doesn't project very well either. But Malone's talked pretty highly of this guy, 5,400. You could see him get out there and chuck too. It's just a matchup play for me. I mean, Utah has just been horrible. So you could see that. Not really too interested in anyone on the Utah side here. I mean, Colin Sexton, maybe at 4,400, just a price point play for me. A guard there, could see him get a little extra run in this game. But overall, definitely Jamal Murray, my favorite play by far in this game. One game left, Hoop. It's the Lakers. It's the late night hammer game here. Hour and a half after the Utah and Denver game. Hopefully we're winning a lot of money in the NBA, NFL streets, and hopefully your lineups are looking pretty good by the time this game comes around. It is a close spread in this one, and from a value standpoint, Markelle Fultz, Paolo Banchero, but not too much interest personally from me in this late night game. I like the Brooklyn game a lot, obviously some of these earlier games, so it's going to be kind of an early night for me in the NBA streets, and then maybe a couple one-offs late here, but that's about it. What are you looking here?
Yeah, it's going to mostly be on the Lakers side. I think Anthony Davis is a fine play coming off back-to-back 60 fantasy point games. They're going to need him in order to win games. I mean, he played 39 minutes and then 40. Was that an overtime game against Sacramento or no? Because it's very high scoring. I just wanted to check on that.
I don't know off the top of my head. Let me look. I'll pull it up.
Oh yeah, it was an overtime game. He played 42 minutes on Saturday, so he take the 5. So he would have played 30. So he's going to play upper 30s. They just need him. I mean, they just don't have a very talented roster. LeBron James at 9-1. I don't necessarily hate. Like, what was the thing in the opener where they said, "Oh yeah, we're going to limit him around 29 minutes," and then he goes and plays 30, 35, and 39. Like, it literally makes no sense. I think he will be playing around 35 minutes most nights. And at 9-1, I think he's a fine option. And then the other guy that I do like is D'Angelo Russell, 6.1K. Looks to be in really good shape this season. He's played well so far. I mean, hasn't been 28, 31, 34 fantasy points. I think he's a safe bet to get you around 30. And if he gets hot, he has the upside to go for more. So in on him, but really it's just those three in this game. I'm not really seeing anything else. I don't want to mess with Orlando in this game whatsoever.
Yeah, I did want to call out one thing. They did play, obviously, last night and back end of a back-to-back this early.
Oh, that was last night. Why was I thinking that Saturday? It was last
night. We do know how fragile these boys, these divas out there in LA can be with Davis and LeBron. Could see one of them or even both of them sit here tonight. So personally, not a spot that I want to sit and wait around for. But like I said, if you're glued to your screen here tonight, you're going to be watching football anyways, and you got your laptop. Could be a spot if you hold on. I would definitely, if you're playing one of Davis or LeBron, I think I would prefer LeBron here in this spot. I would try and save a 2v2. At least another spot.
That's the standalone 10:30 Eastern game. So you're like, man, yeah, that is. There's definitely some risk in playing those guys. Now that I for some reason I thought that was on Saturday. It was last night, overtime game. Man, if one of them sits, you're just jammed up. Like, definitely don't play both of them in the same lineup. You probably shouldn't either way, but definitely not with that scenario now. I mean, that's that is pretty interesting.
Yeah, Ant, I know James is probable, but I mean,
Right.
with NBA reporting, I mean, you'll see all year AD and LeBron are going to be questionable probably every game. So that's just how it works. LeBron probably definitely more likely to play. He played 39 minutes. I think he can play more minutes than AD, even at his age, just due to his. He's an absolute freak, and AD played. Right. AD played 42 minutes last night. And this guy gets a hangnail. He sits out for a whole game. So could definitely see AD sit in this one. LeBron, probable 9,100 for him as a late night hammer. You could go there. I actually like two guys on the Orlando side in this game. Franz Wagner has a pretty good matchup here. He's 6,600. We've seen the ceiling that Franz can put up. He's had a huge ceiling last year in a couple of games. And then Markelle Fultz obviously projects to be pretty good value play. He's got a great matchup as well. So Franz and Markelle Fultz are my main interests in this game as a late night hammer. But definitely got to pay attention because I do think one of AD or LeBron does sit. Probably AD in this one on a back end of a back-to-back this early in the season. Any additional final remarks here, Hoop, before we get on out of here?
It's a big boy slate, and we have NFL obviously going tonight as well, but we'll have all our content up, core plays, slate plans already up, and there'll be updates if there's any additional news. It's a big boy slate. That last game, it does scare me a little bit now that we kind of talked through it with those guys playing so many minutes last night. So stay in tune to all the news. We'll be in the Discord if you have any questions, but our content, as always, will be up early. I'll be I'll be putting up my initial core on the website here after the show. And then we'll have all our NFL content for the Lions and the Raiders game tonight. We did the show on the Mayo Media Network prior to hopping on here. So make sure you check out that as well. Massive night last night, obviously, or massive day yesterday in the NFL streets. But as we always say, not done yet, just the beginning. Looking forward to more winners tonight and moving forward.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Obviously, this early in the season, we're going to kind of rely these shows. It's probably going to tweak throughout the year. Obviously, Hoop and myself will be on Mondays together all season long. This early in the year, I'll be honest, I don't play as much NBA at this point. I just got NHL going on. I run the NHL content over here for SHIPIT Nation. We got NFL. I'm on NFL cores as well, NBA cores. So there's a lot going on, I'll be honest with you. But our guy Hebrew Cheetah has been in the chat. This guy's been absolutely printing all season long in NBA. Does our slate plan for us over here. Multiple live final seats for himself. He's got tons of experience. One of the best players in terms of NBA in particular, all sports in particular. But NBA, met him last year down in out in Denver. Awesome dude. So he's got you covered. We'll have our core plays. Our projections will continue to get updated throughout the day. Obviously, a ton of news. Definitely going to have to be around your computer tonight if you are playing NBA DFS. But that's going to do it for this show. We appreciate everyone tuning in here. See a lot of familiar faces in the chat. Ant, Jordan Newert, Richie Smalls. If you guys haven't hit that like button, please do hit that like button again. And head over to SHIPIT Nation. It's the last day to get 10% off if you are not a member, and join the movement over here. Join the nation. We've been crushing. Twitter speaks for itself. Just head over to @SHIPIT Nation on X or Twitter. Our guy Tambo said he's going to try and get to the end of that. So stay tuned. Maybe Tambo will have the full reasoning behind why Elon changed the name of there. But that's going to do it. That's going to do it for this edition of the NBA show for SHIPIT Nation. For myself, Nades, for Hoop. We'll catch you guys next time. Let's ship it.